Kia ora, ko Stephanie tuku ingoa haere mai. Welcome to Adaptive Go. Hi, my name is Stephanie and we're here today to talk about disability hang-ups. What's your disability hang-up? Disability hang-ups are negative attitudes about disability that affect disabled people in one of two ways. Either it's a hang-up that the disabled person has themselves and it limits them in some way, or it's a hang-up of others and that puts limitations and barriers in place or can even cause emotional harm. Disability is a pretty tough thing to have. It's tough to be limited in some way, whether it's sensory, physical, mental health, or a learning limitation. All those things are really tough just on its own to overcome, yet at the same time you have to often fight yourself and sometimes the people and the environment around you when they can make those limitations much harder to overcome or create bigger barriers than what needs to be there. For disabled people, not everyone has a disability hang-up, but I do. I have a disability hang-up and I was really surprised to find that I had this hang-up. I've known disabled people my whole life. My two nanas were disabled and I thought they were amazing, strong women. I had a disabled friend through high school. I volunteered to help at the special needs unit at high school, as it was called in the day back then. And so all the disabled people that I've known in my life I've thought of as being incredibly strong. Yet my disability hang-up is that I think of myself as being weak and that my illness or my disability weakens me and stops me. The thing though about hang-ups and disability hang-ups is that they do hurt disabled people. So my disability hang-up hurts me. It causes me to fight my disease more than what I need to. It makes me want to put my head in the sand and go, I don't have this disease, la 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 la, I can do everything I want to do and I can be super mum, and I end up being mum on steroids, literally. And because I need the steroids because it causes me to break, probably more than what I need to. For me, learning about pacing and learning to let go, those have been really massive challenges. I really love burying myself in exercise and that feeling of that exercise euphoria that you get, and I have to let that go. So that's the thing about hang-ups, is they can hurt us or limit us and stop us from living as free and full a life as we want to. But also the hang-ups of other people can also hurt or limit us. And I just want to spend a little bit of time now talking about what some of those hang-ups are. If we think about disability hang-ups as being about negative attitudes about disability, then you can see those negative attitudes reflected in people in the way they act. So the Office of Disability Issues in New Zealand has a page called Disability Etiquette, and this is about helping people learn how to act around disabled people. And some of those common disability etiquettes or actions that they ask people to do are an indicator of the hidden or negative belief about disability. So I've used those to help me think about and talk about some of the negative attitudes of disability and disability hang-ups. The first hang-up that's affected me quite negatively is the belief that disabled people don't have a brain. I've seen this when I've been in my mobility scooter, but also when I've been in my sit ski, and people just talk right over my head about me to my husband, and they use the word she. Does she need this, or does she want this, and it's kind of like, hello, I'm here, I have a voice. It's really hard to be ignored, but also to be thought of as not being with it when I am. The other hang up that affects me is the one that I can't call myself disabled because I can walk. Another negative belief or hang up that I seem to have discovered quite often is the one where disabled people always need help. This is a tricky one because where I experience it the most is in my sit ski up the mountain, and actually that's a really good place to ask a disabled person if they need help. I could be stranded and I could need help, and if I'm just lying there and no one's helping me, it could be really difficult. So I think up the mountain it's always good to ask a disabled person if they need help. But alongside that goes with, don't be offended if they say no. You know, the disabled people, on the majority of the time, disabled people don't need help. The last disability hang up that's I'm going to talk about that's affected me significantly is this hang up that disabled people should always be protected and they should stay home. And this is a really curious hang up. I notice it the most when I had my mobility scooter, and I needed my mobility scooter every day to get to work, whether it was raining or whether it was fine. The thing is most mobility scooters and most electric wheelchairs can't go out in the rain. It's amazing in this day and age with all the technology that's available, they do not make the electronic controls of those equipment waterproof. And is that because people have a disability hang up that disabled people should stay home when it's wet and be protected? Maybe, but you know, I want to live a full life, and why should their hang up affect me and my ability to go to work when it's wet? I'm not going to melt. I think there's an opportunity to change our hang ups. Our negative attitudes are not something that's stuck with us and ingrained for life. We can change them, and we should change them. 1 in 4 New Zealanders self-identify as being disabled or limited in some way, and that's a huge number. That's worthwhile trying to make a difference for 1 in 4 people. The other thing is, of those 1 in 4, a lot of them suffer worse outcomes compared to others in the general population. So worse educational outcomes, worse income outcomes, a whole bunch of stuff. So their physical disability, not only is their daily life harder, but their outcomes are poorer. So why shouldn't we all have a good look at ourselves and think about what our hang-ups are and whether we can work on them to just make daily living a little easier for disabled people? Because hang-ups are like part of our attitude and belief system, they're not always easy to change, but they're not fixed either. It just takes a little bit of hard work, and it can be a little bit up and down. So the first thing to do around changing your disability hang-up is actually to have some self-awareness and know that you have that hang-up and that you want to change it. The second thing I did was I found a role model. I actually stumbled across one, and she was amazing, and I learned so much from her about her views on disability and how she interacted with disabled people. And yeah, it was it really over time really eroded my attitudes and really helped me be more comfortable with who I am when I am disabled. So a positive role model is a really good way to go. The other thing I did was I watched a lot of YouTube videos and read a lot of blogs, so I learned about disability and I learned about how other people who are disabled, how they're coping, and everyone has some sort of struggle when they become disabled and learning to really cope with their limitations. The fourth thing I did was I had some positive interactions with disabled people, and actually last year I went to the Adaptive Ski Festival for the first time, even though I've been skiing for 3 or 4 years as an adaptive sit skier. And the part of the reason for going to the festival was to meet some other disabled people who also skied. So just finding others who are like yourself and making some connection can be a really positive experience and really help. The last two are kind of quite interrelated. It's about thinking about what your attitude change will mean in your life. So for me, you know, thinking about how having a better understanding of disability and a better self-belief that actually my disease is not making me weak, that I can still be strong when I have it, that understanding, that belief and thinking about that will help to change the attitude, but also developing a vision of what you want your life to be like going forwards will also help support the evolving attitude change. So I'm disabled and I have disability hang-ups. I like to think I'm not the only disabled person with a disability hang-up, but I might well be. I like to think other people have hang-ups because it just sort of helps keep me sane. And I've tried to explain how my hang-ups affect me and how the hang-ups of other people also can be harmful to disabled people. I hope this video has been really helpful to you, whether you are disabled or not, and provides some insight into how you can work on that bit of yourself so that you can open up and help support a more inclusive and diverse community. So if this bit's been helpful, you know, please subscribe so you can hook into other videos. And yeah, I'll see you next time.